Wow. So I apologize for that. The first few minute and a half, I was uh, I didn't turn my microphone on, and of course I don't have anyone in to tell me that my microphone is not on. All right, so I'm going to give it a few minutes. I'm gonna have some folks to come in. All right, let's see who's in. No one's in yet. All right, cool. All right. So first, I go by the way they measured in this survey. The way they measured happiness, they measure by life expectancy, generosity, perceptions of corruption, uh, I guess positive and negative effects of all of that, um, freedom, I guess the social support, like social safety net of countries, and GDP per capita, and amongst a few other things. So before I jump into North America, this survey was heavily influenced by the pandemic. So you will find that the countries that were least happy were often those countries that were severely impacted by the pandemic. So going to North America. So North America, the two happiest countries in North America are the United States and Canada. So I have this on the thumbnail, as you'll see if you've seen this video. On the thumbnail, they're rated from on a scale from 0 to 8, 8 being the happiest. Now, both Canada and United States have a 7.0. Mexico a 6.1. You'll see pretty much all the Central American countries have anywhere from a 6.3, Guatemala 6.3, Nicaragua 6.2, Costa Rica is the highest in Central America with 6.6, Panama 6.3, Honduras 6.0. Then the Caribbean, Jamaica has a 5.9, and the least happiest country that was actually surveyed and or studied in this region is the Dominican Republic. So the Dominican Republic is the least happiest country that was studied in North America with a 5.7. So I guess on the scale that's considered somewhat happy because it's on the higher 50% percentile, but not as happy as the United States or Canada, which both have a 7.0. South America. Now, South America is less happier region of the world. But here's a breakdown. So the happiest country in South America is Uruguay. Uruguay has 6.5. And which is also very happy is 6.2. Chile has 6.2. Brazil 6.3. Argentina 6.0. And most of the countries fall with Colombia with 5.8, which is, they say, dropped from 2020 because of the pandemic. So it was much higher before the pandemic. And now, after the pandemic, Colombia is now at 5.5, 5.8, excuse me. Ecuador 5.5, Peru 5.6, Bolivia 5.6, Paraguay 5.6, and the least happiest country that was studied in this study is Venezuela. Venezuela has 4.9. Now, we all know what's going on in Venezuela. Like Dominican Republic, it was also severely impacted by the pandemic, but Venezuela already had political and economic instability prior to the pandemic, so the pandemic just made it worse. Europe. Now, Europe has a lot more happier countries than both North America and South America. So, the happiest country in Europe is Finland with a 7.8. Now, the scale only goes to 8.0. 7.8 is almost 8.0, so that's almost perfect for Finland. And then that's followed by Norway and Sweden, which both have 7.4. You have Austria has 7.2, Switzerland has 7.5, Denmark has 7.6, the Netherlands has 7.4, Ireland has 7.0, Germany has 7.0, and you see, then after that it falls to the Czech Republic, which has 6.9. The UK has 6.9, France has 6.7, Spain has 6.5, Malta 6.4, Italy has 6.5, and then 6.5. Romania has 6.5, and Portugal has 6.0. Greece has 5.9, Poland has 6.1, Hungary has 6.1, and then it falls to the other countries, which are basically all located in Eastern Europe, which Bulgaria 5.4, Belarus 5.8, and the least happiest country in Europe, no surprise there, is Ukraine with a 5.1. Now, Ukraine, as you all know, even before this study, so this study took place before the war. So even prior to the war with Russia, there was still somewhat a proxy war with Russia, where Russia may not have their official military forces in Ukraine, but after they took over Crimea in 2014, there's basically been some political instability as there's been constant fighting in a proxy war between the two countries in that area. So, and also you can imagine the pandemic on top of that have heavily influenced the mood in Ukraine. The Middle East and Central Asia. So the happiest country in the Middle East and Central Asia is, no surprise, Israel with 7.4. Now that's the only country within this region that has a 7 that's above 7. Now we have Saudi Arabia, which has 6.5. Bahrain and UAE both have 6.6. Cyprus has 6.2. Kazakhstan has 6.2. Turkmenistan, that is surprising. Turkmenistan. If any of you know anything about Turkmenistan, please do some research. Turkmenistan is is considered the most improved country in the region by mood, and it has an authoritarian government, Very interesting, a very interesting system. I'm not saying I'm for it, but I just highly recommend you go out and check out Turkmenistan. It's very different from those living in the United States and in the West. And the other countries, we have Turkey with 4.7, Iran 4.9, Iraq 4.9, Yemen 4.2, Pakistan 4.5, Tajikistan 5.4, Kazakhstan 5.8, and then you have Jordan 4.2, Palestine 4.5, Lebanon 3.0. That's the lowest that we've seen so far, 3.0. But now Afghanistan. Afghanistan is the least happiest country in the Middle East and Central Asia with 2.4. And you know what's been going on in Afghanistan? The U.S. pulled out, the Taliban took over, and now the Taliban runs the country. There's the Taliban has some enemies as well within Afghanistan, so there's still some fighting, even though the U.S. is officially out of Afghanistan. East Asia and Oceania. Now, the happiest country in East Asia and Oceania is both Australia and New Zealand with 7.2, which is above the United States and Canada. The other countries that are rated somewhat happy is Japan with 6.0, Taiwan with 6.5, Singapore with 6.5, the Philippines with 5.9, Thailand with 5.9, China with 5.6, Mongolia with 5.8, South Korea with 5.9, the Philippines 5.9, Malaysia 5.7. You have Bangladesh 5.2. Then you have some of the other countries that are least happy, which is Indonesia with 5.2, Myanmar with 4.4, and the least, Sri Lanka with 4.4, but the least happiest country in the region is India with a 3.8. And they say much of that was due to the pandemic, which put 75 million people into poverty. So there were 75 million people before the pandemic that weren't in poverty. After the pandemic, they were placed into poverty. That's a lot of people. That's the population of many of these countries on this list, or more. Africa. So Africa is, by comparison, is the least happiest region on this list. And a good percentage of the countries on this list wasn't even studied. So just take that into consideration. So the happiest country that was studied in Africa is Mauritius. So Mauritius is an island off the coast of Madagascar, and they were rated at 6.1. And then there are many countries rated in the 5s and 4s. Yeah, South Africa 5.2, Mozambique 5.0, Namibia 4.5, Madagascar 4.3, Niger 5.0, Algeria 5.1, Libya 5.3, Mali 4.5, Egypt 4.3, Burkina Faso 4.7, Nigeria 4.6, Cameroon 5.0, Gabon 5.0, the Republic of Congo is 5.1. The other Congo was not surveyed. And Liberia 5.1, Sierra Leone 3.6, the Gambia 5.2, Senegal 5.0, and the least happiest country. The least happiest country in Africa is Zimbabwe with 3.0, which is not far from Botswana at 3.5 and Zambia with 3.8 and Tanzania with 3.7. Wow. So there you have it. So those were the list of the happiest countries in the world and the least happiest countries in the world. So I think on this list, it looks like Afghanistan is the least happiest country on this list at 2.4, and Finland is the happiest country with 7.8. So, and then again, you must take into consideration the pandemic heavily influenced the mood in the world, because right now the pandemic is over for the most part or ending, so we're in the endemic, but you still require to have a negative COVID test within 24 hours to return back to the U.S. On top of having a vaccination, some countries have relaxed that, but not the U.S. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. The happiest countries in the world, 2022. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Like this video, share with your friends, and I hope you enjoyed it. Peace.